Hi guys, welcome to the channel. So I'm YY, and today we got some issue here to be addressed. The alternator on the Windsor has seen ghosts now, so we need to change the alternator today. Well, first thing here, we need to disconnect the chassis battery from right here. Right now it's turned off. What I need to do is loosen up the pulley and some bolts here. So this one has already been pre-loosened with the impact gun because, well, it's on there pretty good. My impact gun has 160 foot-pound of torque, and it took me a while to loosen this up. And make sure you have the belt on to loosen this, otherwise, you know, the pulley, it will just spin, and it won't. This alternator will spin, and this nut cannot be loosened. So this has been done, and I need to loosen this bolt and one more bolt in the back here. There we go. Okay, it turns out that you may want to loosen the belt first, otherwise this bolt is really difficult to remove, and I think this might be difficult too. So release the tension on the alternator. There we go. So removed. Put a 1/2-inch drive socket in this hole and use a wrench to lift it up. And there we go. Here's our pulley here. Looks in good shape. I'll put this away for now. Okay, the bottom bolt was removed, not too difficult here. Now the challenge is the top one. Okay, I have labeled all the wires going into the alternator. Make sure you do that, otherwise you will have no idea which one goes to which. And at this moment I don't know which wire is for which actually, but I have labeled them at least to group them. Like this one is number 1, and this is number 1 terminal, and this in the back here, this one is number 2, and then this one here in here is number 3. I think this is for the tachometer, and these two are the ignition and the battery sense. Let's see, and this one is negative. Another one, oh sorry, positive. This one's positive, this one's positive, going to this big terminal here, and we are ready to remove them. This is the positive battery wire. I should have already disconnected the chassis battery, but somehow when I was unbolting this, I touched the wrench with this steel plate here, and it still had a spark, which tells me there is still voltage on this wire. So, well, just be sure I will wrap this with a shock tower for now. So make sure I should have used a multimeter to check the voltage, but well, I was a bit lazy here, but this will do, and this should avoid any contact between the wire and the ground. So here is the alternator removed. Okay, it's pretty heavy. Actually not so heavy. So I need to clean this here to see the label underneath, which one is for which, and then I'll reconnect the new alternator. Here's the cleaned up look of the alternator's back. This is the ignition as I expected. This is a DUVAC What is a DUVAC? I just did a search. It's actually a voltage sense terminal, I believe, which I don't have on the new alternator, so I have to figure out what I do here. And this one I did not find, but there is 3 terminals layouted just like this on the new alternator, so I will put the wire in the middle like the old one, and the negative and positive would stay the same. Yeah, I'll come back. This relay is actually not something I need to worry about. Reason being, it's supposed to have a DUVAC system on some of the coaches, which is not on mine, but I have the terminal for it. This one goes like the ignition is here, and as ignition is number 1 is here, the ground. So basically I turn on the key, this one is energized, and then it's energizing this relay, thus putting a positive right here connected to this number 2 terminal, which is the DUVAC. So basically once I turn on the ignition, it will have 12 volt chassis battery directly sending to the so-called DUVAC terminal on the alternator. But my coach doesn't have a DUVAC system, so basically this number 2 is actually a it's a voltage sense. It's for the voltage sense, and that's like a bypass for the voltage because it directly feeds the positive terminal on the alternator itself to this battery sense, which is not how you're supposed to use a battery sense, but it has this thing just for the alternator. But then my new alternator doesn't have a battery sense, nor does it have an ignition, nor does it have a DUVAC. So I don't need this altogether. I can just throw this away. I do need to connect this number 3 though. This is for the tachometer. So I will put this to the same position on the old alternator, and I shall be good to go. So one small issue I did have is at the time I was cutting off the zip tie, I did damage this outer insulation here, so I need to use some electrical tape to tape this off, and we shall be good to go. Alright, so apologize for the nighttime filming. I am cleaning those terminals now. This is a ground, and they need to be sanded. Obviously it has been a very long time since they have been serviced, so I want to clean out all the dirt and whatever is on there. Make sure it's nice and clean. Okay, this is a live 12 volt wire. I know it does have 12 volt on there, so be a little bit careful. A little bit explanation right here, because I'm upgrading the alternator from a 160 amp to 270 amp, so that's more than 100 amp more than the original alternator. So in addition to those wiring changes I showed you earlier, I also need to upgrade the wire size. But instead of replacing the wire, I'm just gonna add one more wire for the new alternator. And this is the ground wire. This is the original wire that it should go right here. Actually no, I'm gonna switch the side. I'll have the new wire going to this position and the old wire going to this position. Or yeah, well, it doesn't matter. Okay. Well, sorry guys, so having a bit fast forward here. Basically what we have done is secured the alternator right here, and one bolt here tightened up, and another bolt here tightened up, and the wires in the back were secured as well. Yeah, this is the new battery cable. It is 1/0 gauge. On the original positive post, and this is the original wire. It's pretty rusted, the terminals I mean, so we stripped it back, and so two things here. One, this alternator is a lot larger than the old one. You can see here in the back, it's almost touching the block here, almost very close to the block, but it still fits in. This is the largest size it can fit in. It's 270 amps, and well, yeah, it works, right? The second thing is this positive wire is just not long enough to reach in the back, because it is a bit longer, and the post is at different positions. It's in the bottom, so it cannot reach there. I had to cut it here and then make an extension. This is the new wire. Yeah, let's see, where is that pesky wire? Right here. So what I need to do is use a connector to connect those two together, and that has not reached yet. Now this is one of the wire, because I'm upgrading it to the bigger amperage alternator, so I need to run additional wire, and that's the 1/0 wire right here, and it's running from here through here and to a hole over there, and then it will reach. Alright, it's quite windy today. It will reach here. Now this is the new wire going from there to here, and then to this switch. And this side is the supply side of the battery, chassis battery, and this is the outgoing side of the battery, but that's not the important. but that's not important here. So I'm connecting this to this, which means it will directly connect to the battery itself. So now what I need to do is use lots and lots of zip ties to secure this wire. And here we go. Okay, so I have connected all the wires. Now it's time to do a test. If I go put on this negative terminal, I should see a little spark, but not a huge one. Let's see. Okay, yeah, it's alright. So make sure it is pretty secure. I want to loosen that a little bit. Okay, yeah, I think that's pretty secure. Alright, this is off now. I'm gonna turn it to on. Okay, everything's alright. And the wire goes from here through the back. There's a hole there to here, and then all the way here and around and to the alternator. And the negative terminal, once the original one that's connected to here, see a little bolt here, that's the coolant hose. But anyway, it's grounded here, that's fine. I'm adding another ground from the same terminal in the back to here. That's my coolant surge tank mount. And scratch it in the back to make it a better contact. And I'm gonna spray some battery terminal protection later. But for now, I'm gonna start the engine and see if I have a good reading. Moment of truth. 3, 2, 1. Not starting, huh? Oh, okay. Need to have a start from the rear. I should see a very strong reading on the alternator. Let's see if that's what I'm getting. Okay, select to my shunt. I have the Victron shunt configured so that the aux line reads the start battery voltage. So I should see like 14 volts also. Let's see if that's correct. Yeah, 13.93 volts. That's pretty strong. Let's see in the back if I see anything unusual. No, I don't see anything unusual. This wire is not hot at all. So everything's good. New alternator, upgrade. Excellent. Well, I think every box checked. Other than I need to connect these two original wires together once the parts arrive. Well, that's how I changed the alternator on my 2000 Monaco Windsor with an upgrading alternator from 160 amp to 270 amp, and the mount is J180, and this device is from Amazon. I will put a link in the video description, and you need to run an additional wire, the positive wire as well as the grounding, to do the upgrade. Otherwise, I'll call that a success, and thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.